you're in a position, what I'm going to use this word, a position of power, a position of influence. You're the director of learning in a global law firm. You know, it makes me want to weep. It makes me want to weep. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, a pleasure. Well, it's interesting. You know, I worked my way up. I've been in 5 international or global London headquartered law firms, and I started at Denton's. Then I worked in commercial conferencing. Then I went to Bird & Bird, Bowen Leighton Pays, and Herbert Smith, Free Hills, and Leaplaters. And each time all the firms would deny this, but I bounced up a little bit. So I've gone up a league each time. And it's really good that I'm really pleased to have made it here. And, you know, I've been in this role for 8 years. I think I'm the longest person in this role, in this organization. And trust me, it's not particularly an easy job, and it's not an unchallenging environment. And you do have to bring a lot of yourself. You know what you were just saying, you have to bring your whole self. You have to bring your whole self and then another 50%. And then you go home depleted at the weekends. And most of my weekends are spent, you know, I am the master of the afternoon snooze, you know, trying to charge my batteries as a result. But it took me a while to get here, for sure. It took me a good 20 years. You know, the lesson I think I have is I sort of wanted to end up here. I either wanted to end up here, or there's one other Magic Circle firm that I was, you know, particularly interested in. Magic Circle being what they used to call, and maybe still call, 5 of the sort of more preeminent law firms here. And I sort of had in mind that I wanted to end up here, but I haven't applied for a job for about 25 years. I've always been called and then asked to, you know, send something in, but I've not, of my own volition, gone out and looked for jobs. Told you people that have known me or known of me that have contacted me. But I think I could have got here 10 years earlier. If I had gone back what I want, if I'd been open and public about that and gone, okay, well, what they're going to need is for me to demonstrate these things. What I need to do to be able to demonstrate is these things. And if I put myself and my own career ambitions a little bit more in the center, I think I would have got here earlier. So I would definitely say, you know, to anybody, allow yourself to have that dream. Allow yourself to go, this is where I want to go, right? And this shouldn't be where other people allow you to go, or where it's appropriate for you to go, or where people who look or feel or are like you are permitted. This should be where you want to go, you know, restriction-free, untrammeled, and spend some time sitting with yourself and going, you know, what does it need to get there, and where am I, and what's that gap, and what can I do to make that happen? And you know, through my coaching work, of which there is not nearly enough, I'd love to do more. It's actually quite scary to think about what you could achieve, because if we don't think about that, then we can just be happy here doing what we're doing and complaining about not getting there. But if you actually go, actually, I could do that. And there's nothing, you know, I think I'm good at my job, but there's nothing, it's not like, you know, only I can do it. Lots of people could do this. My gut feel is lots of people don't allow themselves to imagine in that job. Here's the other thing I will say. You know, sometimes I might make this look easy. It's never easy. Sometimes I might make it look like I'm super, super confident, but I am on anti-anxiety medication, trust me. And my husband has to see, you know, my moments of I just can't do this. But you do find a way through somehow. And so do not assume that the people that are in the big jobs are any more equipped than you are. They might have had experiences that you haven't had, and it might look great, and they might know how to mask and how to project a certain image. But honestly, you look behind it, we all think we're going to be tapped on the shoulder and told we made a big clerical error. Sorry, we didn't mean you. We meant the other. So please do, you know, just what do you want out of life? Because I think we're only here once. And I don't think we're here for very long.
In the best way we understand it so far.
In the best way that we understand it. Shirley MacLaine, the actress, would, she has a different view. But, you're your only client, really. You're the only person over whom you have complete control. You're the only person who has to live with you 24/7, 366. So really, try and get yourself a bit more in your center, I would say, and not be shy about that.
It's very powerful what you're saying, because even for myself, I can come across as extroverted, like I have lots of energy, but I actually spend lots of time. I'm highly introverted, so I keep a lot to myself most of the time. I don't really like going to social engagements. I'm also neurodiverse, by the way. So very, special interests. I'll show up for special interests. So talking to you and talking to people is a special interest. But if there's no special interest, there's a lot of anxiety that shows up, or a lack of confidence to meet life on life's terms. Even today, I couldn't make my own sandwich for food today. So there's certain things that I can be highly good at doing. Business, coaching. But then when it comes to online shopping, can't do it.
Oh, you see, I should do online shopping. No, trust. I'm keeping the internet solvent. Let me tell you. That's so interesting because one of the things you're going to ask me about is a great book, and I just so this was one of them. This is a book by Deborah Zack, and it's called Networking for People Who Hate Networking. And
yes,
Deborah is a highly introverted person with the most wicked sense of humor, and she talks about how you can actually get yourself in those situations where it works for you, it works for them, and definitely works for mental health. And I really recommend it. It's been around for a little while now. I remember reading it at the Departure Lounge, coming back off a Thai holiday and just thinking, oh my God, this is amazing. Now, so I'm extreme extrovert. Cannot get on a bus without making friends with the person next to me. I mean, I just can't. If I get on a 1.5 hour train journey, I've made a best friend. I cannot stop. I cannot, it's just, I have to.
How do you catch up with them all in the end? Because for me, it's like if I make a friend, then I have to put them in my phone number, then I literally need to organize like a catch up with them all. So that's where my brain goes to.
So it's, so I'm broadcast, not receive, right? So I'm coming up to 12,000 followers on LinkedIn. I like to broadcast. Now, I partly broadcast because that is just how I process stuff, but I also broadcast because I think I can put stuff out there that helps people, that that can just go, you're fab, continue to be fab, do these things. Yes. And so that's how so I imagine you can possibly create quite intense, deep relationships with people. I find it really, I can walk into a room.
I love it.
I can talk to 200 people, but do not ask me to get deep. Do not talk to me in any sort of secret, anything through my ears, because I just won't. So if my nightmare would be for you to put me in a room with 3 or 4 people that I don't know, that would put me in 200.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that for me is my heaven.
Yeah, no, not at all. So yes, so like dinners. When they were doing the questionnaire about neurodiversity, one of the things they said was, do you always get up from the dinner table before everybody else, and when it's socially unacceptable to do so? And I'm like, yes, that's Steve. I mean, I don't want a deep conversation about politics or religion or culture or opera. I just want to go and lie down and watch television, and that's what I'll do.
So
and so imagine you maybe have more deeper conversations, and that's where you're in.
Absolutely. And this is, I'm in my happy space right now. I'm talking to you one-on-one, and then this will get broadcast. So for me, this is my networking, if you want to call it that. I'm building my relationship with you, and then it's art. So after this, it's like I've got my relationship with you, and I love you, and I will maintain that relationship. And afterwards, it's art.